was, to bring back history, I grew up in Massachusetts. I grew up in a small town called Sterling, actually, so it's a suburb. And youngest of 7 kids.
Wow.
Parents, my dad was a highway superintendent, and my mom basically was raising the children. And my parents kind of divorced early, right when I was like 4 years old, and my mom actually moved to Florida. So my dad kind of watched over all of us kids. And my brothers and sisters really raised me because there's a big age gap. My sister and I are a year apart, and then there's a 10-year age gap.
Oh, wow.
So they were kind of took care of us.
Yeah.
And watched over stuff. So my dad was working all the time. And you can imagine, my father was basically, he had 7 kids living in the house.
Wow.
And, we kind of found our way, and I had a lot of responsibility early. And, I have a lot of great memories. I mean, I was super, super active, riding bikes and doing things with the neighborhood kids. And I was fortunately, able to start working when I was 11. My brothers opened a concrete business, and I really attribute that concrete business to my core for the bodybuilding, because not only the structure of working after school, weekends, school vacations, whatever it was, I also developed a body. I was pretty rugged, and that really gave me, the work ethic, because we talk about the physical thing with bodybuilding. And at 12 years old, I saw a picture of Chris Dickerson, and I said, this is like amazing. I remember showing my oldest brother, and he said, why would you want to look like that? And we grew up on our farm, so we weren't allowed to do, I never had sugar cereals, or we ate a lot from our gardens, and we raised cattle and whatever else. So it was kind of we were very we didn't have supermarkets in the town that we're in or anything. So my dad would do the shopping, and we were just limited on what we would be able to eat. But most of it was from the ground, or off the local farms or whatever. Yeah.
So taking it back a little bit, you were working with your brother, Cutler Brothers, right?
Yeah,
Concrete.
Concrete, yeah.
Is that where you kind of started getting the entrepreneurial mindset, or was this something that you didn't really know you had at the time until later on?
I think I was kind of forced into it, because the family business, you don't punch a clock, right? So you're up, I remember being on the job site at 7 in the morning. So I was up at 6 o'clock, prepared the trucks to go. And we literally would work till the sun went down, and sometimes with the headlights on. I mean, we poured concrete. So
what age was this, sorry, Jay?
11,
Wow.
12, 13. So anytime I was on either break, after school, weekends.
You working?
I was working. This was Saturday, Sundays. It was a family business, so there was no clock. There was do or die. And my dad actually, even though he was a highway superintendent, he was close to retiring by this point, and he would actually come to work. So my dad was, in his 60s.
Wow.
And he's lugging around the concrete forms alongside of me, and I was a little shit. I wasn't big. I mean, I was 11, 12 years old. I mean, I was $150.
Well, I've seen photos of you 11, 12 years old. You are big compared to the average 11, 12
I was
year old.
bigger in high school,
Yeah.
but as I got going, it's that mindset was I watched my brothers just grind.
Uh-huh.
And to this day, man, my brothers, they're in their early 60s, and they're crushing it, still.
Yeah.
Every day out there killing it, and they raised their families already. Their kids all worked for them and decided this isn't for me. It's the hardest work you'll ever do. That's why, we talk about bodybuilding and, there's nothing harder, but concrete sucked,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that give you a foundation when you went into bodybuilding to where the work ethic was natural?
Oh, it's after that. I remember I literally would go to work in the morning, and I would pray, please get me through this day, because I knew the day was going to be 14, 16 hours.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. When it was literally we had no, we're going to be done by 5:30. You couldn't make any plans. And at the time, I mean, I was 12, 13. I used to watch these kids on vacations go on their trips and be tan and whatever else, and then their weekends they'd have to just do whatever they did. And I was just jealous, man, because I'm like, why do I have to work? My brothers and my dad would drag me out of bed in the morning, especially when I got into high school. and I was partying like in sophomore. I mean, I dated like older girls at the time. Like when I was 14, I was dating an 18-year-old, and I mean, I had money because I worked. You know, I was working crazy. I mean, my summers, when you're working 75 hours, I was paid, I think I was making $7.50 an hour. Do the math. I mean,
exactly.
I was making well over 500 back, and this was in you know, the late 80s.
You were 14, you said then? 40,
But I bought a car at 14. I registered and insured it.
Wow.
And I drove without a driver's license. I didn't care. It was a 1981 Toyota Corolla, and I remember... So when I dated like this girl, I said, "Hey, you can just drive this car," you know. And
she's like,
I was like, "As long as you come get me and take me out, you know, to go places, I'll pay for the dinners and whatever else." I was going out, eat at nice restaurants. And,
wow. So you grew up fast.
yeah, I was taught to be a man early.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought my own school clothes at 11, and like my dad never gave me $1 to do anything.
You know, you said once in an interview that I saw that you felt like bodybuilding, to you anyways, it wasn't that hard, right? Do you think that's because of the way that you came up?
Yeah, I think everyone has this, like, I work so hard, you know, and you know, I'm kind of cursed in a way, because I remember my dad saying, he literally told me, "There's no time for fun. Your whole life is work."
Wow.
And, you know, he told Angie, actually, you know, he passed last year.
Yeah.
And he told her, like, as he was, you know, he was close to 90, I think. She met him when he was 88. And he said, "Do me a favor, you know, make sure my son enjoys," because I told him the wrong thing, you know.
Wow.
And said, like, it's all about work. And I have this sickness because I don't have to do half the things that I do, and I continue to do it. But yes, it's easy for me to do everything after the foundation work and after being Mr. Olympia. Like, there's nothing that's difficult to me now whatsoever. So the problem is if you're looking for a challenge, you know, the challenges are very limited now on what you want to do, because I don't have that mindset like, oh, I want to be a politician, or, you know, I want to take over the world, I guess. I guess that's, you know, everyone has their own way they want to do things.